Training as a hybrid athlete, a lot of times people think that it's hard to run and lift, but really what's challenging is recovering from the lifting and the running. So for episode 4 of our half marathon series, I'm gonna break down exactly what I'm doing to recover from my lifting sessions, to run and train to get faster, and to make sure that I'm still building muscle and building strength while training for this half marathon. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, to episode 4 of our half marathon training series. Today is going to be more of an informative video. We're going to go through a lot of the things that I'm doing with my recovery. I'm currently in week 3 of my half marathon hybrid training program. And this is the point where that mileage starts to go up, the fatigue starts to come in a little bit. And this is where recovery becomes so much more important, because you can't just wing your workouts. You can't just go hard every single day and expect to have energy the next day and build fitness. So I want to talk about all the things that I'm doing to help me recover so that I can show up for my best on each given workout. On my running workouts, on my lifting workouts. We're not just trying to run and become a runner. We're not just trying to lift and be a meathead. We're trying to do both at the same time, and your recovery has to be on point if you're trying to do that. If you're trying to train for an endurance event while also trying to build strength and build muscle. So let's not waste time. Let's hop into it. We're gonna get the easy one off the bat first. This is something that if you're not doing right now can make a huge difference in your program, is making sure that you are sleeping enough. Very simple, very easy. You probably heard it a million times, but ask yourself this question. How much sleep did you get last night? Did you get enough sleep? And it might sound hypocritical if you know me, because you know that my first training session in the morning here is at 5 a.m. every single morning. I'm up at 4, I do an ice bath. We'll talk about that in a second. But I don't get a ton of sleep, but you wanna make sure that you can get the most optimal sleep that you can get. I use my Oura Ring to track my sleep, to track my fatigue and my readiness, and I really love doing that. A lot of the days I'm not getting great readiness scores or sleep scores, but I'm doing the best that I can. So what I would say is, a lot of times people think, I gotta get 8 hours, I gotta get 9 hours. And yes, if you can get 8 or 9 hours, that's freaking awesome. But I would say get 6 to 8 hours every single night. That's gonna help you show up, perform your best. It's gonna help you recover, because we're breaking our body out and consistently training for this half marathon and training as a hybrid athlete. We're running, we're lifting, we're breaking our body down. If we're not rebuilding, we're never gonna make progress, or we're not gonna stay healthy. We're gonna run into injury. So first thing, make sure that you're sleeping enough, 6 to 8 hours a night. Do it consistently. Don't just do it one night, do it every single night, and you're gonna be able to recover and show up your best on the next workout. The second thing that I wanna talk about is nutrition and hydration. This is going to be a huge game changer. And I think a lot of times people think that when they're training, they're either training to build muscle or they're training to lose body fat. And you have to kind of retrain your brain when you're training like a hybrid athlete. And you need to think of food and hydration very differently. You need to look at it as fuel. And if your sole goal is to actually build muscle and build strength, and you also want to improve as a runner, so your goal is performance-based, you have to give your body enough food. It's very hard to spend long periods of time in a caloric deficit where you're not eating enough food, your body's not getting the energy that it needs, and expect to build strength, build muscle, and also get faster as a runner and improve your performance. So what I would say is, if those are your goals, if it falls in line with your goals to build muscle and increase performance, you need to be eating bare minimum at maintenance calories. This is gonna give your body enough food every single day to show up, work hard. You're gonna be able to store up the glycogen from the carbohydrates into your muscle and utilize that on your hard training days. And it's going to make such a big difference in your recovery. Because again, if you're eating in a caloric deficit, you're not eating enough food, your body's always breaking down and you're never building back up. So protein is huge, making sure that you're getting 0.7 to ideally 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I'm 200 pounds. My goal is to get 200 grams of protein at least every single day. I space that into about 5 meals and snacks throughout the day of about 40 grams. And that really works for me. It's repeatable. It's something that I can do every single day. The carbohydrates is super important, making sure that you're getting enough carbohydrates pre and post workouts, especially if it's a longer run day, the days before leading up to it, you might want to add some extra carbohydrates. Now, when I say carbs, I'm not saying sugar and a bunch of crap and highly processed foods. I'm saying eat more of the food that you're eating. So the nutritious food, the nutritious carbohydrates that you're eating, potatoes, rice, pasta, fruit, eat more of those foods, and that's going to help you stock up the glycogen within your muscle. And when you go for a hard training session, you're going to be able to utilize that glycogen as an energy source. Hydration is also another big thing that people skip over. If you're not utilizing electrolytes and drinking enough water, especially as a hybrid athlete, your performance is going to suffer and you're not going to be able to get through your workout. So I use daily at least 1 scoop of our Pink Starburst electrolytes. And especially on those sweatier, longer runs, I'm using a scoop before the workout. I'm using a scoop after the workout. If it's a really long training session, I might even mix in a scoop in my running water bottle, keep that in my running vest, and it's going to keep me hydrated. Because here's the thing. If you are sweating out, you're pushing out water and electrolytes through your sweat, and then you only replace it with water, you're not going to replace the minerals and the electrolytes that you need. So say, for example, you take a bucket of water, you put a bucket of water, you put some salt in it, and then you pour out the salt and the water, and then you only put more water back in, you have less salt in that solution or in that bucket. Makes sense, right? It's the same thing with your muscles. You're not going to have the same amount of electrolytes that you need to perform, to replenish, to recover, and it's going to make a huge difference in your performance. So daily scoop of Pink Starburst electrolyte, freaking tastes amazing. I do it after every strength training workout, or like I said, on my running days, it's a little different because I need more electrolytes. It's hot here in Nebraska. I'm sweating out constantly. I'll do a scoop before and a scoop after on those days. This third one, now we're going to get into a little bit more of the training and the recovery aspect. And this third one is something that it took me so freaking long to understand. It's something that I finally wrapped my head around now that I've been training as a hybrid athlete for about 3 or 4 years. And it's something that if you're not doing this right now and you're just starting, or even if you've been doing this for a while, if you're not doing and you feel like you're spinning your wheels, this is a big step that's going to help with the recovery. And my third tip is making sure that you are running your easy runs easy enough. Let me say that again. Making sure that you are not running your aerobic runs too hard. And this is something that took me a long time to kind of understand because I come from that background of like every workout's got to be everything I got. I come from a strength training background and a sports background, and we're working hard every single chance that we get. We're leaving max effort out every single workout. And when you're using aerobic runs, you're utilizing your recovery runs or zone 2 based runs. If you're running too hard, the problem is that's screwing up the next day. So the way my 12-week hybrid half marathon program is laid out is that it alternates your running days and your lifting days. So for example, Sundays are the long run day. That's going to build a mileage. Monday is an upper body strength training workout. Tuesday is an interval faster paced run. Wednesday is a lower body strength workout. Thursday is an aerobic easy run. If I run this run way too hard on Thursday or even on Sunday as well, the problem is the next day, the workout is going to suffer, your performance is going to suffer, and you're not going to be able to lift and run at the same time. And this is where so many people get caught up, is so many people think that you can't run and build muscle. And this is the problem, is they're running all their runs at max effort. They get done with their run and they're panting and they're huffing and puffing, and they think, I did a great job. I ran as hard as I could. I hit a PR. That's great. But if you run every single run at your max pace, you're never going to get faster, you're never going to build aerobic efficiency, and it's just going to mess up the next day of your training. So my tip here is make sure that the runs that are supposed to be hard, so for example, in my hybrid half marathon program, the Tuesday workout is supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be hard. We're trying to get your legs used to turning over faster. We're running at high heart rates. We're improving that VO2 max. The Sunday and the Thursday run are meant to be aerobic. They're meant to be slower paces, lower heart rates, recovery style runs. We're racking up volume. We're improving your aerobic efficiency without destroying your legs or your overall burning through carbohydrates. And then that affects the strength training day on the next day. So run your easy runs slow enough to where you can recover, you can get the mileage that you want, but it's not going to mess up your strength training. That's the big thing that I see a lot of people doing. They're running every run hard and it's messing with their strength training, and they're wondering, why can I not get stronger and build muscle while I'm also running? This is a huge tip that if not doing can make a huge difference. The next two are something I'm just going to kind of bundle together. I'm going to talk about saunas and cold plunges and how they're really helping me, how I'm doing it, how long, what temperatures, all that stuff. I want to talk about that next. So I am a huge fan of doing a sauna and doing a cold plunge. I do my cold plunge every morning at 4 o'clock. Like I said, I have to train here at the gym at 5 o'clock is my first training session. So I have to get here between 4:30 and 4:40. That's, the time that I get here at the gym. And I love doing my cold plunge in the morning because it freaking wakes me up. Like 4 a.m. is early, but if I don't do it, I notice the energy is very different. I can't give my best on my workouts that I'm doing throughout the day with my clients. And it just really energizes me. I mean, getting in like 50-degree water, it's freaking cold. It'll wake you right up, even if it's 4 a.m. in the morning. And I really love doing that. I'm also doing cold plunges after my runs. This is something that is really helping the recovery of my legs. A lot of times when we run, we can cause a lot of inflammation in our legs. Sometimes your ankles get swollen, your knees kind of hurt a little bit, hips kind of hurt a little bit. this is something that I'm doing after every run that is making a huge difference. So the way that I structure cold plunges into my program, typically I'm doing in the morning. If I'm going for a run, sometimes I'll skip it in the morning, or I'll do it in the morning, and maybe a shorter one just to wake myself up. And then after the run, that's when I'll go home and I'll do a cold plunge, and it makes a world of a difference. I'm doing 3 minutes in my cold plunge. I have it set at 50. I can get down to 37. I have not put it down to 37, but 50 is plenty cold for me for right now. But this is something that's making a huge difference in my recovery. I also like to do some contrast with some heat. I usually do that on Saturdays. I'll talk about that in a second, but also utilizing saunas. So again, a lot of times we cause so much fatigue and so much breakdown of our body. Utilizing a sauna is a great way to sweat out a lot of plastics and toxins in our body, but it's also a great way to get blood flow, and it's a great way to recover. I'm doing my saunas most days in the evening. So we have some Sonabox Solaris here at the gym. Sometimes I'll do it after a strength training session if I have time. But a lot of times I'm utilizing our Sonabox Forge in the evening, and me and my wife will do a sauna. It's just a great way in the evening to de-stress, kind of for me and my wife to catch up. It's just something that we really love doing. We're taking saunas about 3 to 4 times a week, usually 15 to 20 minutes each session. The research shows that 58 minutes of sauna usage every week can maximize the benefits that you can get from saunas. So that's really what we're aiming to do, is about 4 sessions of 15 minutes. You can do more, but those are where all the benefits are going to come from. A lot of times too, I'm doing a contrast day. So on Saturdays are my one day to take a rest. I have a busy day here training at the gym. And by the time I'm done training, I don't want to stack on a session. I want to get home with my family, because that's a huge priority to me, is to spend time with my family on the weekends. But what we'll do sometimes in the mornings or later in the afternoons and the evenings, me and my wife will do some contrast therapy, where we do 10 minutes in the sauna, go hop in the plunge for 90 seconds. 10 minutes in the sauna, hop in the plunge for 90 seconds, and do 2 to 3 rounds of that. It's such a great way to recover. You feel like $1 million after you're done with it. And it's something that I really love to do, and is making a huge difference. And my leg recovery specifically, as the mileage starts to go up, it's going to make a huge difference. If you guys have any interest in any of the products that we talked about, Plunge, Sonabox Solara, the Sonabox Forge, I'll leave the links to those down in the comments in the description below. I also have reviews of those, and I'm also going to be doing a review of the Sonabox Forge. That's brand new. I'm going to be doing that soon. But if you guys have questions on saunas or cold plunges, let me know. I love saunas and cold plunges, and I love to help out any way that I can. The last thing that I want to talk about is making sure that we are doing mobility work. We're warming up before runs. We're cooling down after runs. We are taking the time to stretch. And I think this is something that a lot of times people, when they go for a run, they do the old bend over, bend to the side, do a couple leg swings, and hop right to it. But you want to make sure that you're going through a full dynamic warm-up before your runs. You're getting your heart rate up. You're getting your ankles loose, your hips warm. You're getting your mind and body primed for the run. That's going to decrease your risk of injury. It's going to help your performance on that run. And if we get hurt on a run, then we're not going to be able to train and make progress. So doing something before the run is such a crucial piece. Typically what I will do before my runs is I will do ankle warm-ups. I'll do hip warm-ups. I'll actually do lunges, single leg RDLs, squats, get my hips open, do a couple different stretches, do some ankle exercises, because I did sprain my ankle pretty bad last year. And this could be unique to you. You can come up with, maybe 8 to 10 different dynamic exercises that you're doing before the run, just like you would before a strength training workout. And you're going to perform so much better, and your risk of injury is going to be so much lower. So making sure that you're doing something before your runs is huge. It's crucial. It's also going to get your heart rate up a little bit, so that when you go right to that run, that heart rate doesn't spike, and you can settle into a pace a little bit better. And then after the run, making sure that you are doing some static stretching. This can be something that you can do right there after a run. You can do when you get home, but some good ones that you can do: couch stretch, pigeon stretch, some sort of hamstring stretch. You can do ankle stretches just to make sure that you're keeping the soft tissue of your ankles loose. And this is something that can make a massive difference in your overall recovery and your ability to stay healthy. Because like I said, if we get hurt training, we're not going to be able to come in and train hard. Just like I did last year. I freaking bummed my ankle. It was stupid. It was just one of those things where I was at the lake. I couldn't really do anything about it. It was my fault. Someone was coming the opposite way, and I just kind of got over it a little too far to where there was a lip off the edge of the asphalt, and my ankle just caught it, and I put all my weight down on it. And I went down, and I couldn't run for probably 6 or 7 months. And that was a huge mental fuck. It was a huge one of those things where I was bummed, and I never thought that I was going to be able to run a half marathon again. So that's where it's so important to stay healthy. That was something that I did my dynamic warm-up for. It was just a silly mistake. Mistakes happen. But if you can warm up before your runs, you can take your recovery, and you can focus on cooling down after your run, doing some stretching, your risk of injury is going to be so much lower, and all the soft tissue of your ankles, of your legs is going to be primed. It's going to be ready to go. And at the end of the workout, also making sure that things don't get all stiff on you, tighten up, is also going to lead to injury down the road. In episode 4, I just wanted to go through recovery because it's such an overlooked piece in hybrid training. I think that we have this feeling that every workout has to be hard. We have this feeling that we have to beat our best. And yes, we want to make progress, but we also want to train and have fun and enjoy this style of training. And if you're always getting hurt and you can't recover from your workouts and your body's just beat to hell, you're getting sick all the time, you're not going to make progress in the first place. So these are my favorite things that I'm doing to recover so that I can lift and build muscle while also training for an endurance event and run. So these are some of the things that I do. I'd love to hear what you guys do. Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, if you guys have questions, let me know in the comment section as well. And if you're interested in creating the structure that you need to PR your half marathon or just run a half marathon, check out my 12-week hybrid half marathon training program. These are the exact workouts that I'm doing leading up to my half marathon to PR while also building muscle and building strength. I'll leave the link to that down in the comment section below. Go check it out and appreciate the support, guys. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Go check these videos out next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.